I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro Max since release day, and there is a lot to like about this iPhone. One of the first things I noticed is how incredibly light it feels compared to my iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's refreshing to use a phone that it doesn't feel like a brick in my pocket, yet it still delivers excellent battery life. But at $599, this iPhone sits in an interesting spot. It's more expensive than the iPhone SE that it replaces, yet it lacks some features found on the standard iPhone 16 lineup. So the question is this the right iPhone for you? Let's break it down. At first glance, the iPhone 16e looks a lot like the iPhone 14. It's got a sleek aluminum frame, a matte glass back, and it comes in two colors, black and white. This time around, I went for the white iPhone as it is my favorite iPhone color because it looks clean and yet elegant. The iPhone 16e looks like a premium device, and as I mentioned earlier, is much lighter, making it super comfortable to use one-handed as it rests on my pinky finger. The mute switch is gone. Instead, we get the action button, just like on the rest of the iPhone 16 lineup, which you can customize for things like launching the camera app, activating Do Not Disturb, even running shortcuts, or open a different type of app that you might use often. I personally use it to launch visual intelligence. This new iPhone 16e is missing the new camera control that Apple added to the higher price siblings on the lineup. Although for some people it's just a gimmick, I personally use it a lot on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I do miss it while using the iPhone 16e. Sometimes while taking pictures, I found myself reaching for the camera control button, which is not here. One reason that I like this iPhone 16e is because to me, it blends two of my favorite iPhone designs, the boxiness of the iPhone 5 and the usability and screen of the iPhone 10. Although I always go for the iPhone Pro Max for the larger screen real estate. Apple packed in a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and as expected, it looks fantastic. The colors are vibrant, the blacks are deep, and it supports HDR10 and Dolby Vision for better contrast in videos. The display is bright at 800 nits, but when you sit outside on direct sunlight, it just doesn't compare to the brightness of the iPhone 16 Pro lineup. Apple is using the notch on the iPhone 16e as a cost-saving measure by not adding a dynamic island. But as with all other iPhones that use the notch, once you start using it, you can even tell that it's there. But here is another deal breaker for some people, since there is no ProMotion. Again, another cost-saving measure by Apple, meaning that you're stuck at 60 Hz refresh rate. And if you're coming from an older iPhone, you might not notice it, but if you use a high refresh rate display, this could feel like a step back. I might be one of the minority of people that can tell the difference, but that's just me. The camera setup is interesting. There is just one 48 megapixel sensor on the back, but don't let that fool you, it is pretty versatile. You get a 1x and 2x optical zoom mode, meaning Apple is using sensor cropping to give you more range without a second lens. This also means that you don't get sensor shift optical image stabilization. Instead, it uses optical image stabilization, 48 megapixel macro photography, spatial photos, and Apple ProRAW. In daylight, photos look great, with excellent dynamic range. At night, Apple's computational photography does good, but without a dedicated telephoto zoom lens, zoom shots in low light can get grainy. On the recording side of things, the iPhone 16e is not supporting cinematic mode for recording videos with shallow depth of field, or action mode, spatial mode, and ProRes recording at up to 4K, ProRes video recording up to 4K at 120 FPS with external recording, low recording video, and micro video recording, including slow-mo and time-lapse. However, it does support recording 4K Dolby Vision, video recording at 24 FPS, 25 FPS, 30 FPS, and 60 FPS. 1080p Dolby Vision recorded at 25 FPS, 30 FPS, or 60 FPS. The front-facing 12-megapixel camera is sharp, with autofocus for better subject tracking. Whether it's for selfies or FaceTime calls, you are getting a solid performance here. Under the hood, we got the new A18 chip with 8 gigs of RAM, making the iPhone 16e snappy and power efficient. Whether you're launching apps, multitasking, or even gaming, this phone flies. The latest release of iOS 18.3 runs very smooth on this iPhone, and Apple Intelligence runs good, although it makes the iPhone heat up a little bit. And well, about Apple Intelligence, Apple just announced this past Friday the best features of Apple Intelligence are being delayed till possibly next year. For me, the only features I use are ChatGPT through Siri for privacy, visual intelligence, and writing tools. I don't really use Playgrounds or Genmoji. One of the things that I really enjoyed during my 10 days with the iPhone 16e is the battery life. This thing lasts. Even with heavy use, I can comfortably get through a full day without reaching for a charger. Unlike my iPhone 16 Pro Max that ends up between 20 to 30%. No MagSafe. It's a big deal for me, and it could also be for you if you build up a collection of MagSafe accessories. Although you can still get a standard Qi wireless charging at lower speed, while hoping that you place your iPhone right on the spot. If you don't want to struggle with the magnet situation, well, you can always get a case that has magnets. But the only problem is that you only be getting slower 5.1 speed for charging. Now, if you want faster charging, there is USB-C support for that. But MagSafe Accent is definitely something to consider. Now, about connectivity, Apple is using its own C1 modem, which promises better power efficiency and reliability. However, there is no millimeter wave 5G support. For most people, though, a standard 5G performance is still solid. In my test, I got 526 megabytes download compared to 780 megabytes download on my iPhone 16 Pro Max and 10 megabytes upload on the iPhone 16e and 22.8 upload on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But then again, the iPhone 16 is more power efficient with this new C1 chip. Another omission that people is complaining about is that this iPhone does not support Wi-Fi 7. It still comes with Wi-Fi 6. Although if you're considering to buy this iPhone 16e, are you really worried that it does not support a wireless network that costs over $500? So where does the iPhone 16e fit? If you're coming from an iPhone SE or an older iPhone, this is a massive upgrade. You get a premium design, better battery life, and flagship level performance without spending pro money. But at $599, it also comes close in price to the standard iPhone 16, which give you a second camera, a slightly brighter display, and MagSafe. The lack of promotion and MagSafe are real trade-off. Whether they matter to you will depend on your needs. After 10 days, I really enjoyed using this iPhone 16e. It's light, it's fast, and it lasts all day. But I also see why it might not be the right fit for everyone. If you value MagSafe, you might want to go with the standard iPhone 16 or 16 Plus. Or if you value higher refresh rate on the screen, you might want to look at the iPhone 16 Pro lineup. So people ask, who is this iPhone for? And does the iPhone 16 make sense in Apple's lineup? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The way I see it, this iPhone 16e is just like the entry-level iPad. It's made for enterprise that provide smartphones to their employees, and for regular people that just want an iPhone that is affordable and don't really care about having the latest and greatest. So if you're watching this video, this might not be the iPhone for you. In conclusion, there is a lot to like about this iPhone 16 since it's a good phone. But at $599, it might not be for everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech reviews, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.